friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for stopping by to share a little bit of time with us. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. We have many and various things to talk about today, as per usual. I have no idea how long this episode will be. I am going on day 5 of no yarn time. Day 5, y'all. The crowds are getting restless. And by the crowds, I mean me. I'm getting restless. I need yarn time in my life, but it has been so busy. I am drinking, this is not a commercial, it's just my new favorite sparkling water called Aha! And it is a peach honey. So delicious. And despite the fact that there is a crazy virus outside and everyone is staying inside to avoid the plague, there is also a crazy amount of pollen outside still. So I'm like it's just a lot, you know, it's just a lot. So I have a little bit of progress to share with you on a lot of projects. I've done a small amount on a large amount of things. But before we jump into that, if you're looking for me anywhere on the interweb, you can find me as The Cozy Cottage Crochet. I am most active on Instagram. We do have a Ravelry group for this podcast that is linked directly down below. I am The Cozy Cottage on Ravelry. And if you have anything to say about the podcast specifically, or you want to contact me for any reason about the podcast, please shoot me an email. That is the best way to ensure that I get to read your message in a timely manner. Sometimes I don't read my Instagram messages in time and then I feel really bad. So my email address is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. And very exciting news. Somehow in the last 2 weeks, I wasn't even particularly looking, but we have surpassed 8,000 subscribers, which feels like a super big deal. I know it's just a number, but it feels like a big deal to me. So I am going to host an impromptu thank you giveaway. To participate in the giveaway, there will be a thread in the Ravelry group. I've tried hosting them on YouTube before, and it's like the comments get a little bit out of control. So go to Ravelry. There will be a thread for this particular episode for the giveaway. All you have to do is answer the prompt, and you'll be entered to win. I have to go way off screen. A box full of yarn. And what you will win, I'm calling it an 8,000 subscriber cake, because there are 10 cakes of yarn in this box. I crammed as many cakes as I possibly could. I'm not going to take them all out, but there are 3 of this, which is Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel in the colorway Pistachio Chip. There are 3 of these Karen Cotton Cakes, which is in the colorway Nested Blues. And there are 4, if I can get it out because I already wedged it in there, of regular Karen Cakes in the colorway Blueberry Parfait. So there are 4 of those, 3 of the Karen Cotton Cakes, and 3 of the Sugar Wheels. And that is as much yarn as I could cram into this box. I wanted to do a giveaway, just like a surprise. Now, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to fit anything else in here, or if I'm gonna have to muscle this closed. It's this big. There's 10 cakes of yarn in here. Why is there 10, you say? Why not 8 for 8,000 subscribers? Because that's how much yarn I could cram into the box. And as you can see, it barely closes. It's probably going to require a lot of tape. So if you would like to be entered to win 10 cakes of yarn, which you could definitely, I think with the Karen Cotton Cakes, get a sweater out of that, and probably with the 4 Karen Cakes. The 3 Sugar Wheels, I'm not sure on the yardage of those. You may be able to get a sweater depending on what size you want to make, but you could also make a blanket. You could make anything. I do love cake yarn. Mandala is one of my favorite, and I've never actually worked with the cotton cakes because who knows why. So I do love cake yarn though. So if you would like to enter that giveaway, go to the Ravelry group linked down below and comment on that thread, and I will pick a winner by next podcast, which will be in 2 weeks. It is a Wednesday right now that I am recording on after work. Huge life event happened because it is 5:39, and normally y'all know I'm like, there's people in the house. I'm gonna have to hurry up and do this podcast because my husband's around. He's doing stuff. He's currently decluttering and cleaning. And normally I say my brother and his fiance and their 1-year-old are here, but they actually moved out. So they have their own place and it's really special and really beautiful and we're really happy for them. It's very quiet around here. Very quiet. Disturbingly quiet. I don't know what to do with myself. So I guess I don't have a time limit. I can talk as long as I want because no one will come home. Although I do have many, many things to do. So we have some make-alongs running that you should definitely participate in because it is March now, and at the end of March I will be drawing first quarter prizes for each of them. That's 3 prizes that will be drawn. First of all, I'm hosting the Wizarding Mal 2020 with Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast. If you don't watch Claudia, why not? She's fantastic. She also makes buttons that are fantastic. I'm pretty sure you'll see one on some of these bags that I have projects in. And so it's a sock and sewing make-along. You'll know my sock mojo is who knows where. It's nowhere to be found. I have gotten through 3/4 of a sock since January. And I was actually planning on getting a lot of sock knitting done next week, but that's not gonna happen now, and I'll tell you why later. So that is make-along number 1. We are in March, so there's a prompt for March. Make-along number 2 is the Year of the Classics 2020, and that is to make something that you will actually wear. It's mostly a garment make-along or like a very large shawl, like huge accessory make-along. Hats and mittens are not permitted, but anything that you will actually wear, you think you'll actually wear in your climate, like a cardigan or a sweater or something like that. For example, this thing would totally fit in the Year of the Classics because I cannot stop wearing it and it's gigantic. And this is the Just Feel Better shawl, which is a free pattern by Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. And I am wearing what I wore to work. And this is what I wore all day. And I honestly did not think that these colors were very much like what I would go for. When I made this, I started to make it with the intention for someone else, and then I kept it. And I have worn it quite a bit. I've worn it with like gray and pastel colors, and then I've worn it with pink today, and it's so gigantic and it just stays put around my neck, which is a problem with smaller shawls, you know? So I really love it. It's a fabulous free pattern. You should definitely check it out. And if you make one, you should enter it in the Year of the Classics. And finally, we have the Mission Impossible Mal, which is to make a project that really challenges you. I have one that I have not started yet, and it is a knitted cardigan project. It will be my long line cardigan made using Skyrim Fade yarn by the amazing Leah of Sheep Happens Yarn, which is way over there. So I will show it to you. When I am done with my Tunisian cardigan, I am going to start the knit cardigan. So whenever that happens, I will be joining the Mission Impossible Mal. And it can literally be anything. Like if you want to try color work and you've never done it, try it. Any fiber art, crochet, knitting, spinning, weaving, tatting, whatever you want to do is totally fine. And just enter it into the Mission Impossible Mal, and there will be a prize drawn at the end of March. Let us talk about what I have been working on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects to talk about. And they all have a very small amount of work done on them. And if you can hear massive rustling sounds, my husband is cleaning out the closet down the hallway. Real life, y'all. So let's just jump in, shall we? In this bag is a cardigan that you will have followed. You have followed the saga of for almost 2 years now. I'm hoping it'll be done by April, because then it really will have been a 2-year whip. It is the soft gray cardigan pattern, which is a pattern that I got out of Simply Crochet magazine. And this is what it is supposed to look like. And we have all been here for my complaints as this pattern has been made. Last time you saw it, I told everyone that I was going to pull it out because after blocking, I still decided I did need another inch in the underarm. And I am using a Tunisian crochet hook 5mm. This is a Denise interchangeable Tunisian crochet hook. Did y'all see that? I just hit myself in the face with this. Luckily, it's light plastic. It didn't hurt me at all. And the yarn that I am using is Luette Gems in the colorway Eggplant. I am pretty sure that I have 12 total skeins of this, and it's going to use every single skein, every single yard, perhaps. So last time I had completely done the shoulders and like 2 rows of the collar. I ripped it all the way back to the underarms. And oops, I am dropping yarn everywhere. You can see this yarn spaghetti because I frogged it. So where is it attached? Okay, here's what we have. That's the inside. So right here, you can kind of tell where the tension changes a little bit. Like this is blocked, this is clearly not. So the decreases used to start here, but now they start up here because I ripped it all the way back to where the decreases started, and I added an extra inch, which is about 6 rows of straight Tunisian stitch, and then I started decreasing. I actually still have 8 rounds or rows of decreases to do, so that's probably 8. That's 16 rows plus the 2 finish rows, so I have 18 more rows to do on this cardigan before the shoulders will be finished. And because I added the 6 rows, this is how much I have left of the original ball. So I'm gonna probably get maybe 1 more or 2 more rows out of this. And then I will have another 16 rows that will be on the new ball. So part of this ball was frogged. So there will be that. And then I have 1 full skein still, which will probably be the entire collar. So I wonder what it looks like if I try it on with these. Last time I tried to try it on and I had little bitty baby shoulders and it totally didn't work, but these shoulders are a little bit bigger. So let's see. There is a massive amount of ends inside. You ready for this? So many ends inside this sleeve. So it definitely looks a little weird at the moment. I can tell already that the shoulders fit much better. And I can tell that it definitely needs the other 18 rows because it feels like it's about to fall off my shoulder at any moment. But this is what it looks like. I'm glad that I ripped back and added another inch. And as you can see, it's kind of a long cardigan. This part has already been blocked, so it's not really gonna grow anymore. I am gonna have to reblock the whole thing, of course, once the ends are woven in. But you can definitely see like this part is blocked, this part is not, and it's super tight. So when am I gonna wear this? I have no idea. It's definitely going to be, I'm gonna try and make the collar only calls for 8 rows. I'm gonna try to make the collar as wide as I possibly can without going too overboard, because there is no way that 8 rows is going to fix this gap. So it's not meant to like be super closed, but this is a men's cardigan. And so what I did not plan for when I should have, I mean, obviously I started this 2 years ago, so my skills have much improved. If I had started this like 6 months ago, I would have changed the pattern. I would have used a different, worked at a different gauge, and I would have also changed these panels right here, because right now it hangs open. But as you can see, because it's a men's cardigan, it does not leave any room right here. So I don't know that I will be able to close it, but maybe I'll just wear it like a jacket. I don't know. So we'll see how far I can get with the actual collar. It's very comfy. It's very warm. It's very soft because of course it's merino. And I'm currently on good terms with it. I was doing like 2 rows a day. That's how I got through most of the decreases. And then of course I haven't touched yarn in 5 days because life. So if I had, I would have been almost through the decreases by now. But no, it was not meant to be. So that's whip number 1. I am hoping maybe I'll have the decreases and like picked up for the collar next time. So when this cardigan is done, I'm going to pull out the knit cardigan. You'll hear this. So many sounds. I'm going to pull out the knit cardigan for the Mission Impossible Now project and work on that. I swatched for it once and I didn't get gauge. So now I think that was like 6 months ago, and I think I need to re-swatch. We'll see. What shall be number 2? Let's pull out the Halloween bag. Ah, here's a pin. This actually is not a, Claudia of Crochet Luna mostly does button back pins, but this is an enamel pin that I love very much that says crochet friends are the best friends. And that is so true. And she designed it, and my friend Clarissa Beth of the Crochet Cakes podcast designed this bag, and it makes me happy when I think about them. So in here is a project that I've done a couple of rounds on. Let's see how many I did since last time. Maybe like 4 rounds since you saw this last. Although the rounds are getting longer, so I feel like I can get a pass if only I can find the front of the pattern. It is the Chelsea cardigan. This is a lace cardigan pattern by Vicki Chan, who is an amazing crochet designer. This pattern is serious. It's 17 pages long. Like, look at all these words. It has charts, schematics, it has all kinds of stuff. So very much a wonderful pattern. You do have to pay attention to this. So again, I was doing like one round on this a day. The yarn that I am using is Knit Picks Hawthorne Fingering in the colorway Graffiti Speckle. So it's a cream with yellow, black, and pink speckles. I have 3 balls of this, and then another ball that I picked up on a D-stash because I'm thinking I want to make the cardigan longer than the pattern calls for, and I was concerned I wouldn't have enough. The worst thing would be not having enough after doing the whole cardigan, right? So this is how much I've done. So you can see on this little stitch marker, that is where I left off last time. So I've done all of this, which I think that's 4 rounds. And of course it looks like a mess because it's lace crochet, and lace crochet always looks like a mess until you block it. But I can kind of pull it a little bit. Like, look how beautiful that's gonna open up. Oh, it's going to be amazing. I am on I've completed row 9 out of 22 before the square is done. And then after the square is done, there will be extensions. Like, you work like different parts of it. So I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out. It will, I really love how it's working up. Of course, I'm sure my gauge is small. I'm making the large, extra large size. I'm pretty sure. They all the sizes start the same way. So this is like a pineapple motif, which is super pretty, and it has a flower in the middle. So we shall see. I'm pretty sure there's about to be another pineapple starting right in this corner, but we'll have to find out next time. I'm very excited. I like working with this yarn. I already have a cardigan made out of this yarn. It's the Ariana cardigan by Vicki Chan. Of course, I made it in blue, but it's still Hawthorne Fingering. So very excited about that. That will be slow going as well, I am sure, simply because it does require me to pay attention to the pattern. I did not pay attention for a couple of rounds, and I had to frog it. So that is project number 2. Number 3 is Tunisian. It's living in this bag that was gifted to me quite a long time ago, and here is a pin. Happiness is Crochet from Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast. I have pins of hers on almost every bag that I own. And I haven't touched this pattern in a little while because I had been very distracted by other things, but I just needed some projects to work on that didn't require brain power because it's just been a lot the last 2 weeks. And so this is one of the ones that I picked up, and this is probably the one I have the most progress on because I'm almost through with the ball of yarn. This is how much yarn I have left in the first skein. So this yarn is Attic Spin Dye yarn in their colorway Vibrant Iris, which is truly my favorite color that they do. And also they have very beautiful yarn. They're in the UK. They're super reasonably priced. So I'm gonna leave a link to their shop down below. And also they're just delightful people. Andy and Angela are wonderful, and I am blessed to know them. They've been such supporters of this podcast, and they sent me these 2 of these skeins of yarn. And so I've been working on a Tunisian crochet pattern with them. And I actually have a fair amount of progress to show you. So this stitch marker, I've done all of this, which doesn't seem like a lot compared to the whole thing, but this is the most work I was able to do on projects. And this is the project I've been taking to work to do at lunch. Now I haven't gotten, it's Wednesday, I haven't done any crochet at work in 3 days, but all last week I was able to do most of this, and I just love how it's working up. I love this Tunisian stitch, and let's see how long it is because I have specific designs. So it needs to be probably another third longer than it is. So if I fold this, a third, maybe another, maybe this much longer would be good. So I still have quite a ways to go. I will use probably half of the second skein, but I am almost out of yarn. I maybe have enough for 1 or 2 more rows if I'm pushing it. I feel like I'm gonna push it and then I'm gonna get halfway through the row and not have enough yarn. But they're not that wide of rows, so maybe, maybe I could do it. I love the pooling. It's pooling like only right here because you know the pattern like this didn't pool and then like this did a little bit, and it's even more vibrant because it's hand dyed. So some parts of it are different than others. And I actually really like it. And I'm excited to see when I join the second skein how that will work up. So that is a pattern that has gotten quite a bit of love. There's more. There's 2 more. I think, so this one is another cardigan. It's another cardigan by Vicki Chan, shockingly. Once I'm done with this, that's pretty much all the cardigan patterns of hers that I want to make. What am I gonna do? So this is the Angela cardigan by Vicki Chan. And I am using Loops and Threads Wool-like, which is an 85-15 acrylic nylon blend. And it's a very affordable yarn. You can get it at Michael's for like $3, $2-3 a ball. I'm using a 3.5 millimeter hook, and I am making the 3XL stitch counts to end up with the medium/large size because my gauge is really small. So I am more than halfway through a ball. This ball has had a hard life. You can see that halo, that is how it fuzzes. So if you're looking for a very hard wearing yarn, probably not the yarn for you, but it is very affordable. And these rows take like 20 minutes each because they are so long. This is folded over. So from here, all of this is 1 row that you do, but it's a 2-row repeat. So that was really easy. I have it memorized. And this stitch marker is where I was. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows since last time, which looks like nothing when I hold it up like this. But when it's blocked, it's gonna be more like that, very mesh-like. So it at least increases by like 50% when I stretch on it. So I'm very excited. It's very soft. I find that I do like 1 row and then I put it down. And I think that this will be definitely, even though I want to wear this all the time, I already want to wear it all the time, I should say, this is going to be a really long-term project because the mesh stitch itself is a little tedious, which is fine. It creates a beautiful fabric, which I'm very happy with. So I would imagine if you are using a regular fingering weight yarn, because this is a light fingering weight yarn, if you're using regular, you will probably get gauge faster, and you will have less stitches to wrangle than I do. So I have, let me see how many. This is riveting crochet television, isn't it? Me staring at a pattern. So, normally if I were making the size that I would make, it would have 134 chain loops, but I am having 154. So that's 20 more than you would normally have for my size, which is totally fine because that's the fabric that I want to have at the end of this. So I planned it out, and the yarn is really light, which I knew going into it, the yarn was really light and my gauge was going to be really tight because it always is. So I did some math, and it was luckily very easy to do math because it's just straight. There's no shaping, and it's just bottom up to the armholes. Then you do the armholes, and then you seam the shoulders, and then you do a neckband. So the construction is okay. And finally, I actually have a knitting project to show you that you haven't seen in a while, probably since October last year. This is another very long-term whip, and it is living in a swan bag that I made myself. It was one of the very first bags I made. You can tell that it's kind of wrinkly because I used interfacing that was too stiff, and it wrinkles. It doesn't like, it's not super soft, but it's got these little gray arrows on the inside. And in here is a knitting pattern. And I finally feel like after 2 months, my knitting mojo is a little bit back. I just needed some mindless knitting time. And most of my crochet patterns had required some thought. So I pulled this out. And this is a beautiful pattern called the Transitions Shawl. The Transitions Shawl by Hand Knit by Cam. It is a paid for pattern. I saw it a long time ago on the Noble Character Crafts podcast. There is so much fuzz flying around. It's making my nose run. And hers like took my breath away. So I immediately bought the pattern, and then I have this yarn for it, which I'm not a huge fan of the yarn. It's very beautiful. It's just a little annoying to work with. So it is Valley Yarns Charlemont? Yes. Which is 60% superwash merino, 20% mulberry silk, and 20% nylon. So I have a dark gray, dark green, light gray, and light green. And the fuzz is definitely coming. So you see this halo? The fuzz is definitely coming out of this bag. This yarn fuzzes and splits like nobody's business, but it's beautifully soft. It is incredibly soft to work with. I currently have almost 350 stitches on the needles, and I'm like not even halfway done. So I'm going to get up to 587, 600 stitches, I think, before the border. Then it has like a 20 row border. So this is definitely going to be a long-term whip, but it is very beautiful. And this is what I have so far. And this is what it looks like. I think perhaps this will be a Mission Impossible Mal project as well, just because of the amount of knitting that is in it. I have done, since you last saw this stitch marker I worked on this on the cruise my husband and I went on in October. So this much was done on the cruise in this green. And I want to say like 1 row of the gray. So since in the last 2 weeks, I have knit this light gray stripe and half of this dark gray stripe. And I think I either have 2 or 4 more rows of dark gray before it goes back to light gray. So this is what it looks like. It's already like super scrunched up on my needles. So you can only see one part of it at a time. So this is what it looks like. It has these like really pretty decrease panels. And of course, on one of these, I made a mistake right here. You see that giant hole? That I dropped something. I should have frogged, but it would have required tinking back a lot of stitches. So I kind of fudged it. And I feel like when I'm wearing it, no one will be able to tell, but you can definitely tell if you're just like holding it up that there's a bigger hole there than there should be. So I don't know. It's really, really beautiful. And when it's blocked, it's going to be really big. So maybe it'll go for the year of the classics and the year of the Mission Impossible Mal, the year of the impossible. That's what I almost said. My brain has left the building. So this is the last whip I've been working on, and I kind of am into it right now. And I know that it won't last forever, so I'm loving working on it at the moment. Tomorrow is Thursday, and finally this week, I think I will have some yarn time. So I think I'll probably work on this unless I get super inspired to work on something else. Fuzz up my nose. Anyways, I just had to kick my husband out of the house because he was making all kinds of crazy noises. And I just said, give me like 20 minutes, man. How is it noisier when 3 people have left our house than when we're down to 2 people in this house instead of 5? Anyways, I did get a little bit of happy mail, which was very, very delightful. It was from a lovely, lovely viewer of this podcast, and she made me something, and I'm just very happy. I don't know if I can share your name, so I'm not going to share your name, but I got a really lovely card. It has a rainbow on it, which is beautiful. And she made me this gorgeous bookmark in pink thread, which I did not have the patience to make something like this. So it's really beautiful. I actually have a book that I'm going to put it in. I've been waiting until I could show you on the podcast. So this is really, really beautiful. Thank you so much. And she also sent this lovely purple skein of yarn from Art Yarns. It is Empress. I think that might be the colorway. Nope, the color is E21. So maybe Empress is the base. This is a 52% silk. No. Yes, 52% silk, 48% cotton yarn. And I just really love it. I've never worked with a silk cotton yarn before. That's quite a blend. It's super, like, very, very soft. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I just keep like taking it out and rubbing it on my face. So it's going to live in my stash until I find the perfect project for it. It's just beautiful and purple, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you for thinking of me. You brightened my day. And it's been a lot the last 2 weeks. So, let's talk about life, shall we? It has been 2 quite stressful weeks. And if you've been around, you will know why. Because the grand opening of Different Church happened on March 1st. And I recorded the last podcast episode a couple of days before that. So we had the grand opening. Just gonna shove that off camera. We had the grand opening on March 1st. It went so well, even better than I expected. We had almost total 100 people there. And of course, a lot of those people were just coming for day one. Like my parents came for the first day, and a lot of relatives and of people who were involved came. But we did have some people come specifically to come to the actual church service who were interested in the church, not just interested in supporting us. And so that was really exciting. We got a lot of awesome feedback. We had a party afterwards at Three Daughters, which is a local brewery that's like a block away from where our space is. And they have a huge outdoor area. And so one of our members, who has been with us since almost the beginning, she is a pastry chef, and she baked the best chocolate cake I feel like I've ever had in my life. The best. It was gone. I cut the cake, I want to say 15 minutes later, the entire cake. There was a chocolate one and the vanilla one. All of them were completely gone. I would have eaten another slice of cake, and I'm not normally a second slice of cake person, but that cake was so good. So I almost ate another slice, but I only got one. And then after that, I came home and laid on the couch for 2 hours. I couldn't even move. I couldn't crochet, I couldn't knit. I have no idea what was on the TV. I was literally just laying on the couch, dead to the world. Nothing was going on in my brain. I was so tired. And then my husband was like, "Oh, do you want to go to the beach?" And I was like, "Sure, but I don't have any energy. So can we just sit there and watch the sunset?" So that's exactly what we did. We went to the beach. We sat at the beach for 2 hours, and we watched this beautiful sunset. And I'm going to try to get through this without getting emotional. The craziest thing to me was, and you will know, I know I've said this a lot this episode, but it feels like a culmination episode. You will know if you've been around for a while that 2019 was the worst year. It kicked my butt. And in many, many ways, there was so much transition. There was a loss and some health issues that I had at the beginning of the year. There was a complete, I lost my job. I had to leave it and go in a different direction. So that meant leaving a lot of friends and people that I considered to be family. And it was just very, very difficult to navigate last year. And so my anxiety was very high last year. I had so much trouble sleeping, and I just spent all of my energy all the time trying to keep it together. So I'm doing a lot better. One of the things that has helped me is going to therapy. That has really, really given me the tools to manage my anxiety better. However, one of the things that I kept saying all last year to myself, not really to anyone else because it was kind of a depressing thing to say, I said, I just want to have hope again. And sometimes it was like a prayer, and sometimes there was just it was a statement that I didn't really think was ever going to happen. I am going to cry. So I have to keep talking because I don't start bawling on camera. For most of last year, it did not feel like that was going to happen. And I just kept saying, I just want to have hope. And I realized on Sunday afternoon, watching the sunset, hanging out with my husband for a couple of hours, just sitting on the beach, not doing anything, that I do have hope again. And I didn't notice when it arrived. I don't know how long it's been there. I don't know how long it's been growing. Probably for a while, because it was almost like it just exploded. And I couldn't not recognize it. So that felt really significant to me, because it's been such a long journey to get here. And I completely understand that there will still be crazy bad days and everything's not fixed, but it feels like we're moving in a good direction. And that was really, really significant to me after everything, that it actually happened. We pulled it off. We launched a church, and it's gonna be okay. Anyways, we're gonna keep going. So we had that, and then last week I was just really busy because it was after the launch. So I recovered from that for a couple of days. And then we had the launch, and then we had our second service a couple of days ago on Sunday, and it went really well too. And there were some new people there who found us on the internet, which makes me really happy. And our podcast is now pretty much going to be a weekly thing. We have got the audio recordings working, so you can download the Different Church podcast on Spotify and on iTunes, and you will get to hear me talk. It will not be about yarn, I promise. It's all about faith. So if that's not your thing, totally understand, will not be offended. But I know some of you have been very interested in kind of listening to what is said on a Sunday morning there. So it's not the music part, because I don't think we have the rights to that, but it's just like me talking. And forgive if the audio is sometimes a little bad. So Sunday we had church, and then we all, or whoever is available, likes to go to lunch after church to kind of just build community and spend time together. And then we had a meeting because St. Pete Pride is going to be in June, and we have a spot in the parade, as we are an affirming church. So we had to plan that. And then I was home for like an hour, and then I had to drive to Tampa and be in a meeting. And then I was on the phone with a friend who was having a really hard time for like an hour. So by the time I got to bed on Sunday, I was like gone. And then Monday I worked, of course. Tuesday I worked all day, and then we had a board meeting, and then I spent 3 hours in QuickBooks, maybe longer, I don't know. I pretty much worked yesterday from 8 a.m. till about 10 p.m. So that's 14 hours minus a little bit of drive time. So yeah, there was a lot. And today I have been trying to recover from that. So that is why I have not had any yarn time in the last 5 days. It's just been so busy. But tomorrow I should get some yarn time. After I'm done recording this, I'm actually going to go to Starbucks with my husband so that I can write my sermon for this Sunday, because that is not done yet, and it is stressing me out because Saturday we were busy all day, and Saturday morning has been my routine. Like, I get up, I do my slides for the next day, and then I do my sermon for the next week, so that I'm like a week ahead and I feel good about it. But I didn't get to do that this Saturday, so I don't feel good about it. So it's probably already gonna be like 7 p.m. when I get there to Starbucks, so hopefully 2 hours is enough time to get some meat on the bones of the sermon. Otherwise, I'm going to be scrambling on Friday and Saturday, which I really don't want to do. I want to feel prepared for that. So that's happening. And there's just a lot going on right now in my life. And I'm feeling like I am feeling a little stressed out, but I also feel okay about it, because I'm really grateful to be in a position where I have too many things that I like, too many things that bring me joy. If if I didn't have to work like a full-time job, I would have so much time for everything. And also, the reason I was going to have some knitting time next week is because I was going to a conference in California, which I have been looking forward to all year. However, it is canceled because of the coronavirus. And I don't know where you are in the world or what precautions your country or state is taking, but the colleges in the United States are like really being strict. And so are a lot of businesses. And if you travel, like you have to be in a quarantine and you have to work from home, which is not possible for me. So it's like, if I had to be in a quarantine and work from home, I just wouldn't get paid for 2 weeks, which would be not okay for my family. So that's a problem. But also the college itself was like, we can't really do this. There's too much of a risk. So the conference got canceled. I don't think I'm going to be able to get any money back from my plane flights because I bought the cheapest ones I could find, even though they were still expensive. And I don't have trip insurance or anything, but I'm going to try and cancel those flights tomorrow, I think. They just got canceled, the conference last night. So I was like, oh, so sad. Like, I've been going to this conference on and off since I was an undergrad, and now, like, it's just an amazing space, and I'm really, really sad that it's not going on this year. But I know that also this is pretty serious, and I really hope that you are taking care of yourself. PSA, please don't buy all the hand soap and hand sanitizer. Just like leave some for the rest of us, like just think about if you're healthy, just use soap. Like you don't need masks, you don't need all of that stuff. If it's people with compromised immune systems that need it, and a lot of people live, paycheck to paycheck or have limited income, and it's really, really difficult for people to stock up when they don't have the resources to do that. Thankfully, because like in the stores around me, like the soap is gone, the paper goods are gone, and it's like, come on, calm down. Everybody calm down. So I know it's serious, but like, please exercise a little bit of restraint. And I just happened to, like 2.5 weeks ago, I went to Sam's Club, which is like a huge, like wholesale kind of a place, and bought a giant package of toilet paper, which I would have bought anyways. I wasn't trying to stock up. I just buy one of those every several months, and it's like 40 something rolls or something. So I bought one, and then like a week later, no toilet paper anywhere to be found. Hopefully they've restocked by now. I don't know. I have enough to last a little while. So yeah, it's crazy out there. I hope that you are doing okay. I hope that you can work from home if you have the option to work from home. I hope that you or your family members are staying healthy and being able to beat this virus if you get it, as well as not contract it. And I know it's a big, big concern for a lot of people, and it's a big concern for, I'm going to say the economy, but I mean people more specifically, because if you can't go to work or the schools are closed, then how are you going to watch your kids if you have to go to work? And if your job is closed, like it's just I know it's a huge financial impact on a lot of people. So I am sending some prayers out. If you are the praying type, definitely do that. But take some precautions. In my office where I work, we've taken to not shaking hands with people because we work with that elderly population. So we want to be really careful that we don't spread any germs and they don't spread any germs, because of course elderly people are definitely more of the ones who have compromised immune systems, and we want to be very careful. So I know that was kind of like a depressing topic, but I hope that you're doing okay if you're anywhere near the virus. If you are in China or India or Italy or anywhere where the coronavirus has really, really taken hold, then I hope that you are well and that you can take care of yourself, and I hope we can still stay connected online. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you're doing, how you're feeling about it. The only thing I'll ask is you please be respectful. Don't bring politics into it or anything like that. I do moderate the comments, and as always, I want this to be a safe space for everybody, but I'd love to know how you're feeling, and if you're feeling scared or nervous, I think we can all support each other, and I hope that we can, and I hope that our yarn community, I hope this video will bring you a little bit of joy if you're stuck at home in a quarantine or something like that. And yeah, so I think that's all the news that I have to share with you. As I said, I did a little bit of work on several projects, but not very much. I'm hopeful that I will have more time to yarn in the future. To end on a high note, I have a conceptual idea for a shawl using white fingering weight yarn and held double with white mohair, lace weight mohair. This came to me last night. I was trying to sleep, and then my husband did one of those jerk things in your sleep, and then I was awake for a little while. And I had this image in my mind of this giant, halo-y, fluffy, but still light shawl in crochet, and I was like, oh. So it's definitely gonna happen. I don't know when, because I have to save up some money to buy some yarn, but I have an idea for a crochet design. And another very exciting announcement, the November Sky Beanie, which I totally don't have with me, but of course you've seen it before. The beanie that has been graded into 4 sizes and 3 levels of slouchiness will be released by the time I record another podcast. So right now, as we speak, my testers are finishing. Most of them are done. I have a couple of more that have until Friday, and then I am sending it off for tech editing, and then it's going to be released next podcast episode. I'm so excited. This is a 1.5 year long pattern. It's definitely a Mission Impossible Mal project. And if I can grade a hat pattern, you can do anything. And if you can do anything, you can save the world. Your yarn and crochet, whatever you're doing, can save the world. And it can definitely improve your mental health. So wherever you are, please be kind to yourself. Definitely go enter the giveaway and Ravelry if you would like to win 10 cakes of yarn. And until I see you again, happy crafting. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. I know I've been a little all over the place today. I'm very distracted. But sometimes that's just the way the podcast goes, because this is real life and I'm a real person. And here I am modeling for you that you don't have to be perfect. You could just sit in front of a camera and talk. And I'm so grateful for you. And it brings me so much joy to come and talk to you every other week. So until I see you again, happy crafting, and I will see you very soon. Bye.